The fire that forges the strongest steel is the same fire that blinds those who try to control it. They have watched you from the shadows, scrutinized your every move, convinced that they could define you, contain you, and ultimately break you. They thought they understood the depths of your journey, the limits of your strength, and the full extent of your purpose. But just when they believed they had unraveled the mystery of who you are, reality hit them like a force they never saw coming. You are not what they expected. What they thought was weakness was actually divine refinement. What they mistook for your downfall was nothing more than a setup for your rise. Every whisper spoken against you, every hand raised to stop you, every door slammed in your face, it was all part of the process. They didn't realize that the weight they placed on your shoulders wasn't meant to crush you, but to forge you into something they could never control. And now, they are the ones standing in disbelief, watching as you rise from the very ashes they buried you under. But here's where it gets even more unsettling for them. Your victory was never up for debate. The price for your breakthrough, your freedom, and your ultimate destiny has already been paid in full by God. It was settled before you even stepped into this battle. Every attempt to silence you has only amplified your voice. Every scheme against you has only paved the way for your triumph. They were never fighting against you. They were fighting against the divine power that marked you, anointed you, and secured your victory before time even began. And now, it's time to let the world know. If this message is stirring something inside you, don't stay silent. Declare it boldly by commenting 777 below. Every time you engage, you help awaken another warrior, another chosen soul ready to step into their divine purpose. And to those who have given through super thanks, I see you, I appreciate you, and I thank you. Your support is not just an offering. It's a signal that we, the chosen ones, are standing together. Your generosity fuels this mission, and your presence here is no accident. But let me ask you something. Why do they fear you so much? What is it about your existence that threatens their system? Why have they gone to such great lengths to keep you distracted, confused, and doubting yourself? Is it possible that you carry something so powerful, so unstoppable, that they've spent years trying to make sure you never discover it? From the moment you took your first breath, they sensed something different about you. It was never just about what you did. It was about who you are, the way doors opened for you when they should have remained shut, the way you found favor, even in places where you were counted out, the way you survived things that would have destroyed someone else. They called it luck, coincidence, even madness, but deep down, they knew the truth. You were never ordinary, and that is what terrifies them, because history has always feared the ones who refuse to follow the script, the ones who will not be tamed, who will not bow, who rise untouched no matter how many forces try to bring them down. Every attempt to define you, to limit you, to strip you of your power, failed. They set traps, but you walked through them untouched. They orchestrated your downfall, but you stood back up stronger than before. And now they are faced with a terrifying reality. You are still here. They tried to erase you, but instead they confirmed your destiny. They tried to silence you, but now your voice is louder than ever. They tried to weaken you, but every challenge only sharpened your spirit. And now they realize the most terrifying truth of all. Nothing they do will stop you. But why? What is it that makes you so unstoppable? What is the real reason you were chosen? What has been hidden from you all this time? Stay with me, because what you're about to hear will shift everything you thought you knew. This is not just a message. It is a revelation. What comes next will change everything. Let's break it down step by step. God's chosen ones, they uncovered your past, and what they found left them shocked. They rigged the game against you, creating a system designed to trap you in a life of limitation, to keep you confined. But what they didn't realize is that you were never meant to stay within their constructed walls. Have you ever wondered why the obstacles in your life feel bigger than the average person's? Why, despite their efforts to confine you, you continue to rise? The truth is, your destiny was never bound by their plans. You are not just a piece in their puzzle. You are the game changer. Just like Joseph, whose brothers cast him into a pit, thinking they could erase him from the story. But God had greater plans. You too are destined for greatness, despite what others have tried to do to you. Joseph's journey wasn't easy, but through betrayal, hardship, and years of waiting, he became second in command in Egypt. The enemy tried to destroy him, but God used it all for a greater purpose. They thought they could control you, believed their manipulation would ensure your downfall, but they were wrong. Do you sometimes feel like you've been under attack for so long, yet there's something inside of you that refuses to give up? You are like the resilient Job in the Bible. He lost everything, his wealth, his family, his health, but he never lost his faith in God. Job asked, "Why did I not perish at birth and die as I came from the womb?" Job 3:11. Yet God restored him greater than before. Like Job, your trials are not punishments. They are stepping stones towards something greater. Your path was always meant to be difficult, but not without purpose. Through the fire, your strength is forged. Now they've uncovered your past. What did they find? What left them shocked? You might wonder why your past, your struggles are so significant. Have you ever felt that your past mistakes or hardships would hold you back? The truth is, your past doesn't define you, it refines you. What they see as your weakness, God sees as your testimony. The Apostle Paul, who once persecuted Christians, is a powerful example. He transformed from Saul, the persecutor, to Paul, the evangelist. His past didn't disqualify him, it became the platform from which he preached the gospel. But by the grace of God, I am what I am. 1 Corinthians 15:10, Paul declared. Just like Paul, your past is a testament to God's grace and power to transform. They've watched your rise, and they don't understand it. How could someone who they thought would fall rise so high? Take a moment to reflect on your own life. Can you see how each setback has served as a setup for your comeback? The struggles you faced were not meant to break you. They were meant to strengthen you. The more they pushed you down, the higher you soared. And now their system is failing, for they never accounted for the force driving you. You are not just following a path, you are blazing a trail that no one can stop. This reminds me of a real-life example. Oprah Winfrey. Growing up in poverty, she faced abuse, rejection, and numerous obstacles. Yet, despite it all, she rose to become one of the most influential women in the world. Her journey wasn't easy, but just like you, she was never meant to stay down. Do you sometimes feel like they are still trying to control your destiny? The truth is, they can't, and now they're afraid. They're afraid because, like the Pharaoh of Egypt, they didn't realize that you were chosen for a purpose greater than their understanding. Pharaoh's heart was hardened, but God's plan for Moses couldn't be stopped. In Exodus 14:14, it says, "The Lord will fight for you. You need only to be still." Just as God fought for Moses, He's fighting for you. Your journey isn't about submitting to their control. It's about breaking free from it. The system they built is crumbling, and you are the one who will dismantle it. You have been chosen by a higher power, and now that you've uncovered your true purpose, the entire universe is aligning in your favor. Your name, once hidden, now rings loudly for all to hear. Just like Esther, who rose from obscurity to become queen and saved her people, your rise is not just for your benefit. but for a greater cause. And who knows but that you have come to your royal position for such a time as this. Esther 4:14. You were chosen for this moment. You were always meant to rise, and now nothing can stop you. Let them watch, let them wonder, but they will never understand your power. They will never understand the force that has been driving you. You are like a seed planted in the ground, but unlike the ones they've tried to plant, you're destined to grow into something extraordinary. They can't control the light that shines from within you. Every obstacle they throw at you, every scheme they devise, will only bring you closer to your divine destiny. And now, as you rise, they can no longer hide the truth of who you are. Your story is unfolding, and there's nothing they can do to stop it. You are rising, and the world will have no choice but to watch. They tried to bury you, but you became the storm. They believed the fire would destroy you, not knowing that you were born from the flames themselves. Have you ever felt like you've been pushed down again and again, with everyone waiting for you to stay down? The whispers, the doubts, the certainty from others that you wouldn't get back up. Doesn't it seem like they've been counting you out for years? They watch in disbelief as, each time you rise again, stronger, sharper, untouchable. It isn't a coincidence or luck, it's something beyond their comprehension. The force behind your rise is something they simply don't understand. These people have spent their whole lives playing by a set of rules designed to keep others weak. They operate under the belief that failure is the end of the road, pain is meant to break you, and betrayal is a final blow. Yet you don't live by their logic. You don't fit into their boxes. Your story doesn't follow their script. The universe doesn't operate by their rules, and neither do you. You are not just another pawn in their game. You are the force sent to shatter their board entirely. Do you ever question how you keep standing after everything they've thrown your way? The isolation, the betrayals, the doors slammed shut in your face. It all seemed like part of their plan. They wanted you to think you were alone, abandoned by the world, powerless. But what they didn't know is that the very isolation they imposed upon you was never a curse. It was a gift. They tried to leave you in the dark, but the darkness was never meant to consume you. It was meant to refine you. While they clung to their titles, their connections, their numbers, you learned to rely on something far greater. Do you feel the strength in that? The force that has been guiding you all along, even when they couldn't see it? What was meant to weaken you became the very thing that propelled you forward. The same forces they used to break you only served to build you. And that terrifies them. They wanted you to break, but instead you turned your pain into armor, your struggles into weapons, and your past into the fuel that propels you forward. Can you see now how all that pain is what makes you unstoppable? They can't understand it. They can't comprehend how, despite everything they threw at you, you are still standing. Their logic says no one should survive what you've survived, let alone come out stronger. But it's not their logic that rules your life. Have you noticed that their systems, their traps, their carefully laid plans, all of it has failed? Now, they're scrambling because they realize you're not playing by their rules anymore. You've stopped dancing to their tune, and it terrifies them. What's happening right now is beyond their control. The universe operates on a higher law. It doesn't reward deceit, corruption, or control. It rewards the unbreakable, and that is exactly who you've become. Your resilience isn't just survival, it's a force that bends reality itself. In the same way that Job in the Bible endured suffering beyond measure, but came out with double the blessings. Job 42:10. Your struggles have shaped you into something far greater. Just like Job, you've been tested, but you haven't just survived. You've become unstoppable. What they thought would be your breaking point has become your breakthrough. And now, the storm they created is coming back for them. Real-life examples like Nelson Mandela also illustrate the power of resilience. Despite spending 27 years in prison, Mandela became a symbol of hope, reconciliation, and leadership for millions. His imprisonment did not break him. Instead, it forged him into a leader who helped dismantle apartheid. Mandela's resilience is the embodiment of turning a dark past into a driving force for future change. Much like him, your past has become your weapon. The fire they set to destroy you has now become the light that exposes their weaknesses. Can you feel the shift? Now, they have no choice but to watch. They see the storm they created coming back for them, and they know there's nothing they can do to stop it. How does it feel to know that no matter what, your rise is inevitable? The past they used to hold you down is now the fuel for your ascent. The wounds they inflicted have become the source of your strength. Every attack they launched at you only served to fortify your resolve. They tried to bury you, they tried to erase you, but they forgot one crucial thing: you were never meant to be contained. You are the storm that can't be controlled, the force that cannot be silenced, the energy that will never be extinguished. Let them panic, let them scramble for answers, let them try to make sense of what they'll never understand. The truth is standing right in front of them, undeniable and unshakable. You didn't just survive, you became unstoppable. They dug up your past, hoping to find dirt, but all they found was a warrior. They wanted your past to be the chains that bound you, but they didn't know it would become your proof of resilience. Have you ever wondered why people try to define you by your history, as if the struggles you faced will break you? What do they see when they look at you? Do they see your mistakes, your failures, your wounds? Or do they see a warrior who has conquered them all? They believed they could use your history against you. They thought if they dug deep enough, they could find regret and scars that never healed, and then control you. But what they didn't realize is that you've been shaped by your past, not defeated by it. You've emerged stronger from every trial, just like Steve Jobs, who was fired from the company he founded, only to return years later and transform Apple into one of the most successful companies in the world. Jobs turned the setbacks into stepping stones, proving that even the harshest challenges can fuel the greatest comebacks. What if Jobs' struggles weren't meant to break him, but to create something even bigger? Just like you, his painful past wasn't his downfall. It was the foundation of his future success. Just like the Apostle Paul, who endured beatings, imprisonment, and constant challenges, you've walked through fire and come out stronger. Paul wrote, "I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me," to Philippians 4:13. His hardships didn't weaken him, they sharpened him. Similarly, Thomas Edison, who failed countless times in his experiments before inventing the light bulb, never gave up. Each failure didn't define him, it shaped him. Edison said, "I have not failed. I've just found 10,000 ways that won't work." Can you see how every hardship is preparing you for greatness? They assumed your pain would break you. They thought your scars were open wounds. But what they didn't understand is that a true warrior wears their scars like armor. Have you ever felt like your scars were something you needed to hide? In truth, they are a mark of victory. Every battle you fought has shaped you into who you are today. What if those very scars are what make you untouchable? Instead of weakening you, your past has made you unbreakable. They thought they were exposing your weakness, but they only exposed your power. What does it feel like to know that your pain has been transformed into your strength? Every time they tried to break you, you rose. You turned your pain into fuel, and now they are the ones who are afraid. Do you see how they fear you now? Your past, the very thing they tried to use against you, has become the weapon that terrifies them. They wanted you to drown in your history, but you turned it into the foundation of your rise. They thought your past would weigh you down, but instead it has become proof that you can survive anything. Can you imagine how they must feel, seeing you rise again and again, despite all they've done to stop you. They can no longer question your strength. They can no longer rewrite your story. The past they tried to use against you is now the very thing that makes them fear you. Just like J.K. Rowling, who was rejected by multiple publishers before becoming one of the most successful authors in history with the Harry Potter series, your setbacks have prepared you for something greater. Rowling's rejections could have been the end of her story, but instead, they became the turning point. What if every rejection you've faced is preparing you for a breakthrough like hers? Now they see it. The reason you were chosen, the reason no amount of deception, manipulation, or resistance could stop you from stepping into your power. The universe didn't make a mistake when it shaped you. Like Moses, who was shaped in the wilderness to lead his people, you've been prepared through every challenge you've faced. What if your difficulties are meant to shape you into someone who can change the world? You were never meant to be ordinary. Your path was never supposed to be easy. You were meant to rise, and your struggles were only part of that preparation. And now, as they watch, they realize their failure. They didn't destroy you. They didn't expose you. They didn't weaken you. Doesn't it feel empowering to know that despite everything they threw at you, you've become stronger? All they did was confirm what you've always known. You were built for this. So let them dig, let them search, let them try to twist your story into something small, something fragile. What will they find? Nothing, because you have already passed every test. You've already proven your strength. You've already won. And now, as they scramble, they'll only see the undeniable truth. You are unstoppable. A destiny they can't rewrite, and it's driving them mad. They searched your past, hoping to find your weakness, but what they uncovered was proof that you were never meant to bow. Have you ever noticed how people sometimes think they can control you by looking at your past? They believed that by tracing your steps far enough back, they could find something, anything, to use against you. A flaw, a mistake, a scar deep enough to shatter your confidence. But instead of finding a broken soul, they found something far more powerful than they ever anticipated. Purpose. Not just any purpose, but one that shakes foundations, rewrites destinies, and bends reality itself. Can you feel the weight of that purpose? They thought they would discover a victim, but instead they uncovered a force they were never prepared to face. Does it ever strike you that, despite all they tried, you kept rising, even stronger? With every attempt to break you, they only fed the fire within you. The more they searched, the more they realized the truth they were too blind to see. You were never meant to be controlled. What if everything they thought would bind you only served to free you? They thought the past defined you, but what they failed to grasp is that your past was never a prison. It was a blueprint. Every hardship, every betrayal, every so-called failure was a chapter in a story the universe itself was scripting. The fire didn't consume you, it refined you. The storms didn't wash you away, they cleared the path ahead. Can you see how every storm was really a stepping stone for your rise? They wanted to find chains, but all they found was proof that you were already free. How powerful is it to realize that nothing they did could take away your power? Their system was built on control, ensuring that no one ever stepped beyond the lines they drew. Yet here you are, defying every law they thought was unbreakable. They calculated every variable, every move, yet you remain the anomaly. Why does your very existence unsettle them so? That's why they fear you. Have you ever wondered why the ones in power are so afraid of someone like you? They never feared the weak, those who obeyed, those who submitted. But you have become their worst nightmare. You are proof that no force, no structure, no history they create can hold back the will of the universe. Just as Mahatma Gandhi defied the British Empire with nothing but non-violent resistance, you too challenge their entire system. Gandhi's strength wasn't in force. It was in his refusal to be controlled, and that terrified the empire. What if your refusal to be controlled is the very thing that shakes their foundation? You weren't placed in this world to follow. You were placed here to dismantle their illusions, to rise beyond their limitations. What if your very existence is a reminder that true power is never granted, but claimed? The world they've built isn't meant for you to follow. It's meant for you to change. You were never meant to be a cog in their machine. You were meant to break the machine itself. And now they're panicking. Does it surprise you to see them struggling to keep you in check because they thought you were just like them? Another piece in their grand design. They believed your past made you predictable, easy to manipulate. But the more they examined you, the more they realized they were dealing with something far beyond their comprehension. What if they've been looking in the wrong place all along? You weren't shaped by their world. You were carved by something much older, much greater. They tried to make you fit inside their system, but your very existence proves the system is flawed. Does it ever feel like the more they push, the stronger you become? The weight of that realization now haunts them, because every rule they enforce, every lie they push, every attempt to keep people asleep, it all crumbles in the face of one undeniable truth. You cannot control what was never meant to be tamed. They can rewrite history books. They can manipulate narratives. They can create illusions so powerful that the masses believe them. But can they erase you? They cannot rewrite you. They cannot erase what has already been written in the fabric of the universe itself. What do you think it means that your story is already written by something far greater than them? And the best part, they thought they were in control. They believed they had the upper hand. Yet every move they made, every attempt to suppress you, every effort to define your limits only fueled your awakening. How ironic is it that their attempts to break you are the very thing that's made you stronger? They played their games thinking they were leading the dance. But now they realize it was never their game to begin with. So let them struggle, let them search, let them twist and turn, trying to make sense of something that will forever remain beyond their reach. Can you see now that, in the end, they were never in charge of your destiny? They never will be. What if your destiny was never meant to be controlled by anyone, but only by you? They counted on your failure, but they never accounted for the force that carries you forward, silent, unseen, unstoppable. They have studied you, hoping to find a logical reason for your resilience. Yet, no matter how deep they dig, or how many reports they compile, they always end up at the same dead end. An explanation they cannot grasp, a truth they refuse to accept. Have you ever thought about why, despite all the odds, you keep rising? Like David facing Goliath, who defied the giant against all expectations, your rise defies all their logic. David's victory wasn't just about skill or strength. It was about something greater, the faith and power of God that guided his hand. Similarly, there is an unseen force moving you forward, and no matter how hard they try to dissect your journey, they'll never find a logical explanation for it. Psalm 18:29 says, "For by you I can run against a troop, and by my God I can leap over a wall." It's not by their calculations that you succeed. It's by the strength that God has given you. They believed you should have been broken by now. They thought you would surrender. They rigged the system against you, stacked obstacles in your path, whispered doubts, manipulated, controlled, and conspired. Does it feel like the world has been set up to hold you down? And yet, somehow, you kept going. What was it that made you keep moving, even when everything seemed impossible? Every trap they set only sharpened your instincts. Every betrayal only hardened your resolve. Every loss became a weapon in your arsenal. Think of someone like Rosa Parks. She faced unimaginable opposition, but chose to stand her ground. In 1955, when she was arrested for refusing to give up her seat on a segregated bus, she unknowingly sparked a movement that would change the course of history. What if her decision to rise against an unjust system was the very thing that led to the civil rights victories of the 1960s? Like Rosa Parks, you have the power to spark change and defy the system that tried to hold you down. They thought they could burn every bridge and stop you, but somehow the path still appeared beneath your feet. Do you ever wonder why the way always seems to clear for you, no matter how many doors they close? The answer is simple. It's because something greater is moving in your favor, something beyond their control. Isaiah 43:19 promises, "Behold, I will do a new thing. Now it shall spring forth. Shall ye not know it?" They have ruled over men, systems, and entire structures, but there is a force beyond their reach. What is it that ensures you never stay down? They don't have the words for it, they don't understand it, but they see it in you. Isn't it interesting that they try to label your strength as luck, coincidence, or just a random turn of fate? Deep down, they know the truth. You are protected by something they cannot touch. You are carried by a force they cannot comprehend. Have you ever felt like you are guided by something larger than yourself? Something you cannot see, yet undeniably present. It enrages them because they've spent lifetimes ensuring people like you never rise. Their power depends on control. But what happens when someone is completely untouched by their control? Like Esther, who rose from obscurity to become queen and saved her people, you were always destined for greatness. Esther 4:14 reminds us, "And who knows but that you have come to your royal position for such a time as this?" You too were chosen for a time like this. They hate it because their power has limits. It's built on deceit, manipulation, and fear. But yours is built on something eternal. Think about how every time they try to stop you, you only get stronger. They attack with force, but you move with precision. They fight with numbers, but you fight with destiny, and destiny never loses. Psalm 33:11 says, "The counsel of the Lord stands forever, the plans of his heart to all generations." Your destiny is eternal, and nothing can change it. They tried to erase you, but the universe kept writing your name in places they could never reach. Have you noticed how every effort they made to tear you down only positioned you for your greater rise? Do you think this is just a coincidence? Or do you realize this is the very force that's been guiding you all along? Now they are desperate. Their investigations, their reports, their whispered meetings, it's all driven by one thing: fear. Fear that no matter what they do, they cannot stop what's meant to be. What does that fear reveal about their understanding of your strength? They've spent their time trying to control every outcome, watching people bow under pressure, break under attack, and fade into the background when things get tough. But you only rise. You only strengthen. You only sharpen. They stacked the odds against you, but the universe tilted the scales in your favor. Can you see how every setback was only pushing you forward into something greater? Let them investigate. Let them whisper. Let them scramble to make sense of the force that keeps you rising. Let them try to contain what was never meant to be contained. Because their biggest mistake was thinking their power was absolute. But you were never bound by their power. You were never controlled by their system. You were never a product of their world. You were chosen. And now, they know it too. They dug for dirt but unearthed a force they can't contain. They searched for weakness, believing they could find something to use against you. They thought they had you figured out, assumed there was something, anything, they could expose to destroy your foundation. So they dug deep, hoping to uncover skeletons, cracks, or evidence of your downfall. But the deeper they searched, the more they realized the truth. You were never broken. Every scar, every trial, every moment of pain, they thought these were signs of weakness, but in reality, they were marks of resilience. Have you ever looked at your own scars and realized they are the very things that make you stronger? Each battle you've fought has made you who you are. These aren't signs of fragility. They are proof that no matter how much you endured, you refused to break. Psalm 18:39 says, "For you equipped me with strength for the battle. You made those who rise against me sink under me." Every battle was meant to build you, to refine you into the force you are today. What they uncovered wasn't a past they could weaponize. It was the blueprint of someone forged in fire, and now they're haunted by a question they never wanted to ask. If you survived everything they threw at you, what else are you capable of? What happens when someone with this much resilience fully steps into their power? They underestimated you. They assumed that hardship would make you fragile, that you would crumble under the weight of it all. They thought that by pulling back the curtain, they would find someone desperate, someone afraid, someone still trapped in their old wounds. But what they found was something they never expected: power, raw, untamed, and completely beyond their control. They built an illusion of strength for themselves. But your strength was never an illusion. It was earned, tested, proven. Think about how every trial you faced was another opportunity for you to prove your strength, to test your resolve. You've never hidden behind masks or pretended to be something you're not. You are the real deal. Your strength isn't borrowed. It's yours and yours alone. They can't comprehend it. They've spent their lives in a system that rewards deceit, that favors those who pretend to be strong while hiding their true weakness. But you are not part of their system. You've never played their game. Like King David, who stood firm against Goliath, your true strength is found in your faith, your resilience, and your ability to confront challenges head on. The system they've built doesn't know how to handle someone like you. What they saw as your weakness was actually your reinforcement. Have you ever noticed how every challenge that was meant to break you only made you stronger? When they tested you, expecting collapse, they witnessed expansion. The forces they sent to tear you down only propelled you higher. What was meant to silence you only amplified your voice. Now they realize there is nothing they can do to stop you. They played a game they thought they could win, believing that exposing your struggles would weaken you, but all they did was reveal how unstoppable you truly are. Romans 8:37 says, "No, in all these things we are more than conquerors through him who loved us." You were never meant to be a victim of your struggles. You were meant to conquer them. They planned your downfall, but in the end, all they did was announce your arrival. What does it feel like to know that their every attempt to bring you down only elevated you? They cannot comprehend the force that drives you. The weight of their efforts to bury you is suffocating them now because they know they can't break you. What happens when they realize that their greatest weapons only sharpened your resolve? What happens when you fully step into your power? Can you see the truth? What happens when you no longer waste energy proving yourself, when you no longer acknowledge their existence, when you move beyond them entirely? Does it terrify them to know that you are already so much more than they ever anticipated? They thought they were hunting you, but in reality, they were only chasing their own fear. They wanted to shatter your image, but in doing so, they shattered their own illusions. Because you are not what they thought, you are not what they expected, you are something beyond their comprehension, something beyond their control. Now, they are the ones left scrambling, trying to understand the force they have unleashed. They dug for dirt, but unearthed a force they cannot contain, and they will never be able to control you again. They dug up your past, but the universe had already cleared your name. They thought your past would bury you, that if they could drag it into the light, it would destroy you. They believed it would humiliate you, reduce you to nothing, and make people forget your potential. They invested time, energy, and resources trying to discredit you, convinced that focusing on where you came from could erase where you were going. But what they didn't understand is that your past was never a prison. It was your foundation. Have you ever realized that the struggles of your past weren't meant to hold you back? Every scar, every mistake, every hardship they tried to expose only stands as a testament to your endurance. Isaiah 43:18-19 reminds us, "Forget the former things. Do not dwell on the past. See, I am doing a new thing. The universe doesn't choose those who haven't been tested. It doesn't hand out power to those who haven't earned it." Your past wasn't a chain. It was the strength you built upon. They thought your past would be your downfall, that exposing your struggles would make people see weakness. But all they did was show the world how much you've survived. They tried to highlight your missteps, but it only proved that you're not someone who stays down. Think about how Joseph from the Bible was betrayed by his brothers, sold into slavery, and thrown into prison, yet went on to become second in command in Egypt. His trials became the very platform for his greatness, just as yours will. Every failure was a lesson. Every loss was preparation. Every dark moment you endured was a chapter leading up to your rise. They tried to write you off, but the universe had already rewritten your story. What if your past was never meant to be a barrier, but rather the gateway to your purpose? They played their usual games, thinking they could control the narrative, twist the truth, and shape how the world sees you. But they forgot that the chosen ones do not live by their script. You were never waiting for their approval. You were never seeking their validation. They tried to stain your name, but your destiny was never in their hands. Now they're realizing the truth. What they thought would destroy you only made you stronger. When they exposed your history, they expected to see you fall. But instead, they saw you rise higher than ever. What they failed to understand is that the universe doesn't hold on to old debts. It doesn't care about the whispers of those who were never meant to walk in your shoes. The only thing that matters is the lesson, the growth, and the transformation. They hate that they can no longer control you through fear. They thrived on the idea that people like you stay trapped in the shadows of their past. They counted on your guilt, your shame, your hesitation. They thought you would break under the weight of exposure. But instead, you stood taller, untouchable, unfazed, because you've already faced your past. You've already embraced your story. You've already walked through the fire. Like Joseph in Genesis, who endured betrayal by his brothers and years of hardship in Egypt, but was eventually elevated to power. Your trials were part of your divine plan. And now, nothing they say can touch you. That's why they're scrambling, because they've played every card, pulled every trick, and nothing worked. The universe had already cleared your name long before they decided to dig into your history. And now, they are the ones left with nothing but their own regrets, their own failures, and their desperate need for control. They unearthed your past, hoping to destroy you, but all they did was remind the world why you can never be broken. Let them talk, let them search, let them drag out every page of your history, because in the end, their obsession with your past only exposes their own weakness. The truth is, they never had power over you, and now they are forced to watch as you move forward, untouchable, unstoppable, and unshaken. They dug for dirt but unearthed a legend. They thought your past would be your downfall. Now it's the very proof of your destiny. They searched, desperate to find something, anything to use against you. They dissected your history, hoping to expose flaws, weaknesses, failures. They wanted evidence to prove you didn't deserve the power you hold, that you weren't worthy of the influence you carry. But instead of finding a broken soul, they found something they never expected, proof of your unshakable purpose. Every scar you bear, every wound you've endured, every moment you were counted out, doesn't it all speak to something far greater than their understanding, something that shows the world that you were never meant to be destroyed, but to be built stronger? They thought they'd find shame in your past, but instead they found resilience. They thought they'd find regret, but instead they found redemption. What if your past, instead of being a weakness, is the very thing that powers your rise? And now they are the ones drowning in disbelief. They tried to paint you as unworthy, but the universe had already crowned you unstoppable. They can't explain how you survived what should have destroyed you. How is it that no matter what they throw at you, you keep rising? They can't rationalize how every attempt to bury you only made you stronger. It defies their logic. Does it ever feel like everything they've tried has only added fuel to your fire? Their system was designed to crush those like you, to strip you of power, to make you question your own worth. Yet here you are, walking proof that their control is an illusion. What if your strength isn't something they can take from you? It's not luck, it's not chance, it's the power of God working through you. Psalm 18:32 says, "It is God who arms me with strength for the battle. You made those who rise against me sink under me." You've never been walking this path alone. They wanted to turn your past into a weapon against you, but all they did was uncover the undeniable truth. You were never meant to follow their rules. Your rise was never in their hands. Have you noticed how every time they try to control you, your purpose becomes clearer? They cannot comprehend the force that walks with you, the alignment of events that always seems to turn in your favor, the way every closed door led you to something greater. This isn't coincidence, it's not luck, it's not chance, it's proof. Proof that no betrayal, no setback, no storm could rewrite your destiny. They thought they could use your past against you, but they didn't realize your past is why you're unstoppable. Every misstep, every hardship, every so-called mistake, it was part of the plan, not their plan. The plan that was always greater than them. They wanted a scandal. Instead, they found a prophecy, and now they don't know what to do. Can you imagine how they must feel now, knowing that everything they tried to tear you down with has only propelled you higher? Because to acknowledge your rise is to admit that their entire system is powerless against you. They can't explain why the weight of your past didn't crush you. Why is it that no matter what they do, you just keep growing stronger? They can't understand why you thrive in circumstances that should have ruined you. They don't have an answer for why you refuse to bow, so they whisper. They watch from the shadows, hoping for your next move to be your downfall. But that moment will never come. What do they not understand about you? Why can't they stop you? They can try to erase your name, but the universe has already carved it into history. They can try to silence your voice, but your presence alone speaks louder than their entire system. They can try to turn the world against you, but the truth is louder than their lies. They called it luck. They called it coincidence. But deep down they know the truth. You were chosen. Chosen to stand when others fall. Chosen to rise where others break. Chosen to defy every rule they set, every expectation they placed, every limit they tried to impose. They wanted to make you feel small, insignificant, forgettable, but the universe had other plans. You were always meant to be here, so let them watch, let them panic, let them scramble to rewrite the story in a way that makes sense to them. But they will never be able to explain the force that backs you, the power that moves for you, the way every attempt to take you down only fuels your rise. Because your past is not a stain, it is a testament, a testimony of redemption, of resilience, of power beyond their comprehension. They dug for dirt, but unearthed a legend. And now they have no choice but to witness what comes next. They dug into your bloodline and unearthed their worst fear. They thought knowledge was power until they discovered yours. They went searching, hoping to find flaws, weaknesses, something they could use against you. But instead, they uncovered something they never expected. Your bloodline is not ordinary. It carries a force beyond their comprehension, a power not bound by their laws, their rules, or their control. And now, They are afraid. How does it feel to know that what you have cannot be replicated, controlled, or contained? For so long, they dismissed you, treated you like you were just another number, another name, another soul to be manipulated. But the moment they peeled back the layers of your past, they realized the truth. You're not just another player in their game. You were never meant to play by their rules at all. They control the system, but they cannot rewrite destiny. It was never your talent that threatened them. Plenty of people have skill, plenty have intelligence, but what you have, that is something far greater, something they cannot fabricate, imitate, or replicate. Have you ever felt that deep knowing that you were born for something far beyond what they can fathom? It is written into you, coded into your very being. It is not just who you are, it is what you are. They have always feared what they cannot control, and you were born beyond their reach. They designed their systems to shape the weak, to mold minds, to keep people in invisible chains. But you came from a lineage that does not bow, a bloodline built on resilience, forged through trials, destined for something far beyond their imagination. And now they know. They tried to keep you unaware, tried to drown you in distractions, tried to make you doubt yourself. But the universe had other plans. Every time they knocked you down, something deep within you woke up. Every setback sharpened you. Every betrayal made you stronger. And with every attempt to break you, your inheritance, your true inheritance, became impossible to ignore. They see it now. They can no longer deny it. You were not meant to follow their path. You were chosen to disrupt it. They wanted to study you. But now, they cannot look away from what they have seen. What they feared most was never your actions. It was the force behind you, a power that moves in ways they do not understand, that aligns things in your favor. How does it feel knowing that the universe itself is working for your rise, no matter what they throw at you? No matter how many times they try to shut doors in your face, they played their games, manipulated their systems, controlled narratives, but none of it could erase the truth written in your very existence. Have you realized how every obstacle they set in your path only made you stronger and more determined to move forward? And now they must confront it, because they see it now. The way you rise despite everything thrown against you, the way obstacles crumble when you refuse to bow, the way opportunities seem to appear out of nowhere when they have done everything in their power to block your path. What if everything they've done to hold you down was always meant to lead you to this moment? They wanted to strip you of your power. Instead, they proved it exists. You were never weak. You were never broken. The trials, the pain, the isolation, it was all part of something bigger, something they never wanted you to see. But now, there is no going back. They have looked into the depths of who you really are, and what they found was not something they could destroy. It was something they could never defeat. What do you think they fear most about you now? They can't fight what's already inside of you. They can't control the power that flows through your bloodline. So let them tremble. Let them whisper. Let them scramble to contain what cannot be contained, because the truth is out now, and there is no power strong enough to erase it. They tried to unearth your past, but all they did was reveal their own downfall. They dug for dirt but unearthed your power. They went looking for your weakness, but all they found was proof of your unstoppable lineage. They thought they were exposing you, thought they were unraveling your story, peeling back layers to find something they could use against you. But instead of finding cracks, they found something terrifying, your spiritual inheritance. They expected flaws, failures, and reasons to discredit you. What if, instead of weaknesses, your past holds the proof of your strength? What they discovered was undeniable proof that you are not just another name, another number in their system. You are part of something far greater than they ever imagined. And now, they don't know what to do with that knowledge. How does it feel to know that your very existence terrifies those who thought they controlled everything? Because their power depends on illusion, they keep people weak by making them forget who they are. They strip away identity, rewrite history, bury the truth so deep that most never realize what was taken from them. But you broke through the deception. You reclaimed what was always yours, and that alone makes you dangerous. They know now, you weren't just born into this world like everyone else. You carry something ancient, something unbreakable, something they cannot touch. Do you feel the power within you, something beyond their reach, guiding you, shaping your every step? You don't just come from a family line, you come from a force beyond their control. They are terrified because they can take power from those who beg for it, but they are powerless against those who inherit it. Think of how the world has tried to suppress the power of Maya Angelou, a woman who overcame incredible adversity and used her voice to inspire millions. Despite the trials she faced, nothing could take away her power, because it was within her all along. Have you ever wondered if you too are meant to use your own power to break free from the systems designed to hold you down? They thought their system could contain you, but your roots run deeper than anything they control. You are not just another piece on their chessboard. You are the storm that flips the entire game. Do you ever feel like you were born to challenge the systems, the narratives, the limits they've set in place? They studied your past, traced your origins, thinking they'd find a way to weaken you. Instead, they found evidence of something they cannot erase: your spiritual inheritance. And now they understand why you survived, why you keep rising, why nothing they do can break you. Have you ever wondered why, no matter the opposition, you seem to keep moving forward with even more strength? You didn't claw your way here through luck. You didn't stumble upon your power by accident. It was written long before they ever set their traps, long before they tried to rewrite your destiny. They have no authority over you because their system was never meant for you. What if the very system they built to hold you down was never meant to be the force that defines you? You were never meant to play by their rules. They thought you were just another body moving through this world, unaware, disconnected, lost. But the moment they uncovered your true lineage, they saw the truth. You are part of something eternal. Your strength isn't borrowed, it isn't given. It was embedded in you before you even knew how to use it. And that scares them, because if you exist, it means there are more like you, more waking up, more reclaiming what was stolen, more realizing they were never powerless to begin with. They spent generations erasing history, only for you to walk in as living proof that the truth cannot be destroyed. And now, the fear in their eyes is real, because they know you won't stop here. They know this isn't just about you. It's about all the chosen ones waking up. They wanted to erase your identity, but now you carry it like a banner. Have you realized that your identity is the very thing that gives you power? They wanted to silence you, but your very existence speaks louder than anything they could ever fabricate. They will try to distract you, try to convince you that you are alone, that your power is a myth. They will try to make you doubt what you already know in your soul. But once you fully step into your inheritance, once you embrace what you are, their grip on this world weakens, and they can't have that. But it's already too late. You have seen the truth. You have felt it. You have lived it. And no amount of deception can erase what is now written in fire across your spirit. You were chosen before they even knew your name. The opposition was never random. It was fear in disguise. They didn't fight you because of who you were. They fought you because of who you were becoming. From the moment you took your first breath, the game was rigged against you. Not by accident, not by coincidence, but by design. Have you ever wondered why everything seemed to come at you all at once, as if the world was against you from the start? They saw it before you even knew what it was. An energy, a force, a presence that couldn't be tamed. You were marked, not by their system, but by something far greater, and that terrified them. The obstacles in your path weren't random. The betrayals weren't accidents. The constant resistance, the sudden losses, the people who switched sides without warning. It was all part of a calculated effort to break you before you could rise. Have you ever realized that every challenge was part of a bigger picture, designed to push you towards your destiny? They saw the potential before you even had a chance to tap into it. That's why the attacks came early. That's why the road was harder. Do you know why it's been so difficult? It wasn't meant to test you. It was meant to contain you. But they failed. They underestimated the one thing they could never control, the fire inside you. They thought the weight of the world would crush you, that the betrayals would make you bitter, that the setbacks would leave you too tired to continue. They wanted you exhausted, questioning yourself, doubting your path. But here's what they didn't realize. Pressure doesn't break chosen ones. It refines them. You see, every struggle you endured was fuel. Every enemy that stood against you unknowingly contributed to your awakening. What if, instead of breaking you, every trial actually strengthened you? Every loss, every rejection, every closed door. It wasn't a sign of failure. It was the universe stripping away the weak, sharpening you for what's next. Now, look at them. Their worst nightmare has come true. You didn't just survive. You transformed. You didn't just endure the fire. You became it. And that's why they fear you more now than ever. Because there is nothing more dangerous than someone who has walked through every form of pain, rejection, and sabotage, and came out stronger. Have you ever realized that the very things meant to destroy you are the things that made you who you are today? They wanted you broken, but instead, you became unshakable. They wanted you silent. But now, your presence alone speaks volumes. They wanted you lost. But the path has never been clearer. Do you feel that now? The universe doesn't pick the weak. It picks the warriors. And you are proof that no amount of manipulation, deception, or force can stop what was meant to be. But here's the real kicker. They know they've lost. They can sense it now. That energy, that presence they tried to suppress. It's rising, undeniable, uncontrollable. The very thing they feared most has come to pass. You are no longer in the dark. You no longer second-guess yourself. You have seen their tactics, survived their storms, and now there is nothing left to fear. And that changes everything. Because the forces that once stood against you have already played their hand. They used every trick, every weapon, every lie, and yet you're still here, unbroken, unstoppable, unshakable. So let them keep watching. Let them wonder. Let them fear. Because the battle they fought so hard to win, they lost the moment they realized they could never control you. They plot, they scheme, they manipulate, but no matter how hard they try, they will never rewrite what was already carved into destiny. Do you ever wonder why the obstacles in your life seem insurmountable, as if they're intentionally placed to stop you? They thought they had power over you. They thought they could alter your course, twist your fate, erase your influence. But here's the powerful truth. What they failed to realize is that the script was never in their hands. No matter what they tried to do, no matter how many twists and turns they tried to force into your story, they were never the authors. Only obstacles were placed along the way. Tests meant to shape your strength and resilience. Their attempts to dig into your past were designed to uncover something they could use against you. Something that would break you perhaps, or make you doubt your worth. Instead, what they found shook them to their core. Why? Because they saw that your journey was never random, never arbitrary. Every struggle, every loss, every so-called mistake was never a mistake at all. It was all part of a bigger picture, Can you see it now? Every challenge you faced has prepared you for this very moment. This isn't just about you, it's about what you were meant to do. And now they understand, and they're afraid. They finally see the truth. You were always meant to rise. Do you sometimes wonder why things have happened the way they have, even when they seemed unfair or cruel? No matter how many times they tried to block your path, no matter how many distractions they threw in your way, you kept moving forward, not by chance, not by luck, but because the universe itself was aligning in your favor. You weren't just surviving, you were being sharpened, refined, and prepared for what comes next. Just like the process of refining gold, where intense heat burns away the impurities, your struggles have burned away what isn't meant for you, leaving you stronger, purer, and more ready for the abundance ahead. Does it ever feel like your past struggles were meant to bring you closer to your purpose, like pieces of a puzzle slowly coming together? And that's why they can't stop you. They built an entire system designed to keep people trapped, dependent, and powerless. It was a structure meant to control the outcome before the game even started. But you were never playing by their rules. You weren't meant to fit into their mold, to operate within their limits. You were meant to break the very foundation they built. Just like David, who wasn't seen as a worthy opponent, yet rose to defeat Goliath. You are breaking through the limits they set, and now they're watching in helpless awe. They whisper in hushed circles, desperate to find an explanation for why everything they did to hold you back only made you stronger. They tell themselves it was coincidence, that you got lucky, that somehow you escaped their grasp by chance. But deep down, they know the truth. There was never a version of this reality where they won. The moment they chose to stand against you, they sealed their own fate. It's like the story of Joseph, who was sold into slavery by his own brothers, but later rose to a place of power in Egypt. What they meant for harm, God used for good. Every force that tried to pull you down has only set you up for something greater. Every time they thought they'd won, the universe shifted in your favor. And now they are left scrambling, grasping at shadows, trying to undo something that was set in motion long before they even knew your name. This is why their fear grows stronger. They can feel it, the shift, the unraveling of their control, the realization that everything they tried to suppress is now breaking through. And no matter how much power they claim to have, they can't touch what was meant to be. You were never just another person in their system. You were never just another name on their list. You were a disruption, a force beyond their comprehension, a living reminder that no amount of lies, manipulation, or deception can stop what is destined. And now, they're left with only one choice: watch helplessly as you rise. Does that realization fill you with power, knowing that you were destined to break through their barriers? So let them watch, let them panic, let them try in vain to stop what was never theirs to control, because in the end, it was never about them. It was never about their plans. It was never about their system. It was always about you. And the universe never gets it wrong. In this world, you may face many enemies, many obstacles, but like the story of Moses, who led the Israelites out of Egypt despite Pharaoh's resistance, you will rise. Moses was called to lead, despite the Pharaoh's best efforts to keep his people in bondage. The world might try to hold you down, but nothing can stop you from fulfilling your divine destiny. Like Moses, you will lead, and like Joseph, you will rise. They wanted to write your downfall, but the ink spilled in your favor. Isn't it curious how they thought they could predict your end? They set the stage for your destruction, believing that they had the upper hand, but every turn of the page only revealed another chapter of your rise. Have you ever wondered how many times the universe has conspired in your favor, even when it seemed like the world was against you? They thought they were exposing your weakness, pulling back the curtain to show the world your flaws. But What they found instead was something they could never understand. Proof that you were never meant to break. No matter how many times they tried to sabotage your path, you kept moving forward, stronger and more determined. Their plans were never about your defeat. They were merely pieces in your journey towards something greater. They believed that exposing your past would bring you to your knees, that their whispers would make you tremble, that their accusations would sow seeds of doubt in your heart. Yet, every attempt they made only proved one undeniable truth. Everything you went through had purpose. Every struggle, every setback, every so-called failure, it was never a sign of your downfall. It was the foundation of your rise. Do you see now that everything they thought would break you has only shaped you into the person you were meant to become? While they were trying to uncover your flaws, all they unearthed was the very strength that they fear. You weren't weak, and you were never at their mercy. While they played petty games, trying to manipulate their way into power, you were being refined by something much greater. This reminds me of the story of David. David, a young shepherd boy, was underestimated by everyone, including his brothers. But when faced with the giant Goliath, David didn't back down. Instead, he used the strength he had gained in private moments with God to rise to the occasion. Similarly, while they celebrated your losses, you were quietly preparing for your moment to rise above them all. Now, they can't ignore it anymore. Do you ever notice how your confidence shakes them? How your unshaken resolve sends ripples through their fragile world? They see it in your eyes, the quiet power that doesn't need validation. They see it in the way you walk, in how you carry the weight of your past with pride, not shame. Just as Jesus carried his cross, you carry your history not as a burden, but as proof of your endurance and strength. They hear it in your voice, the steady, unbroken tone of someone who has weathered storms and refuses to bow. They set the fire to destroy you, but all they did was illuminate your path. Does it feel like every challenge you faced only brought more clarity, more purpose? It haunts them because they believed they could control you. They thought that if they threw enough chaos your way, you would break under the pressure. But you didn't break. You didn't flinch. Every attempt to expose you backfired. Why? Because the truth has always been on your side. They tried to bring your name down, but your name only reached higher places. Have you noticed how every attempt to diminish your reputation only elevated you? It's like the story of Joseph, betrayed by his brothers and falsely accused. Yet, he rose to power in Egypt. They tried to drag your past into the light, but all they did was reveal the truth. You were never the villain in your story. They were. And in their desperate attempt to strip you of your power, they forgot that power like yours isn't given. It's earned. It's cultivated through every trial, every heartache, every injustice. Now, they're left with nothing but their own fear. There is nothing more terrifying to them than a chosen one who knows their power. They relied on your doubt, on your hesitation, on your silence. But now you move with purpose. Do you feel it too? That shift within you, the confidence to move forward without second-guessing yourself. You now understand that every time they tried to bury you, they were only planting something that would grow beyond their reach. They thought they were writing the final chapter of your story. What they failed to realize is, this is only the beginning. You were never meant to stay in the shadows, and you were never meant to play by their rules. Every obstacle they placed in your way only prepared you for the moment they fear the most, the moment you fully step into who you were, always meant to be. And that moment, it's here. Just like Jesus stepping into his ministry, or Esther rising to save her people, your moment is now. Let them watch. Let them question. Let them scramble to regain control they never truly had, because at the end of the day, their biggest failure wasn't in underestimating you. It was in assuming they ever had the power to stop you in the first place. You were always meant to rise, and now, as you do, There's nothing they can do to stop it. You are the force they never saw coming, the one who would break through their systems, and now they're left scrambling as you build your throne. As we come to the conclusion of today's message, it's powerful to reflect on what has been uncovered about your past. God's chosen ones, you have a history that is unlike any other, one that may have been hidden, misunderstood, or even overlooked by those around you. But as they dug into your past, what they found left them in awe and amazement. They couldn't fathom the depth of strength, resilience, and divine favor that has been working in your life all along. And perhaps neither did you. But know this, what they saw was only a glimpse of the extraordinary calling on your life. Your past, while full of challenges, has shaped you into the person God has always known you to be. The obstacles you've faced, the battles you've fought, and the moments of doubt you've overcome have all been part of God's perfect plan. Every setback, every heartache, and every victory has led you to this point, ready to step into the fullness of your purpose. And as you continue to walk in His light, you will see just how far He is leading you. I want to take a moment to thank you for being part of this journey, for taking the time to watch, listen, and reflect on this message. Whether you've decided to donate through Super Thanks or not, your presence here today is a blessing. Your support in any form helps us reach more people with God's powerful messages of hope, healing, and divine purpose. And for that, I am truly grateful. If this message resonated with you, I encourage you to like this video, as it helps spread this word to others who may need to hear it. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel so you can continue to be inspired by these powerful teachings. Leave a comment below. Share your thoughts, your testimony, or how this message has impacted your life. Let's continue this conversation and support one another on this journey of faith. And of course, share this video with someone who needs to hear it. You never know who may be on the brink of their breakthrough. Lastly, I want to bless you. May God's favor rest upon you in ways you've never experienced before. May He strengthen you in your weaknesses, uplift you in your struggles, and guide you in every decision. You are His chosen one, and your story is just beginning. Walk confidently in the knowledge that He has great things ahead for you, and trust that He will make a way when there seems to be no way. God bless you abundantly, now and always.